It's not easy to come back to this game. There's a reason why I like this game so much. If you paid some attention to this game right now, you're probably thinking like, it's not special. Like, what is this? But it is special to me. And I'm gonna share the experience with you, if nothing else. Hello people and welcome to Nico Plays Midnight Club 2, I suppose. This is one of the games that always had a place in my heart. Probably in my top 10. Not because it's that amazing of a game. If you think about the mechanics and the physics, they all kinda suck. But this is a guilty pleasure of mine. I always love coming back to this game. I usually play it through once every 3 years or so. So I thought we could maybe honor the game. Not many people know about this either. Has one of the best soundtracks ever in a video game. I thought we could talk about life, talk about video games, talk about whatever. Let's just take a break from all of the evaluation and do something different. If you don't care about this, fine, skip this, don't watch this, wait for the next evaluation video. But if you do want to listen to this or watch this, whatever you do, put it in the background while you do stuff, be my guest. So basically what Midnight Club 2 is, it's an open world racing game in which you go through checkpoints to win a race. And it's nothing like Need for Speed, because Need for Speed has rubber banding where if you're winning the race, the others will actually speed up to catch up to you. And if you're losing, they will actually wait for you. There's nothing like that in this game. The AI will actually fuck you up. They will crash into you to make you lose the race. They will do whatever they can to fuck your race up. And I always thought this game had balls. No other game ever did that to me, and I liked that. Now, this game is divided into 3 sections. Los Angeles, Paris and Tokyo. The Los Angeles section is quite easy. It teaches you how the game works, you unlock all kinds of skills. So it kind of has minor RPG elements, if you call them that. Like you can pull wheelies and such. You have some crazy nitros. It's literally like a cartoon of sorts. And what I mostly always liked about this game was the dialogue. Whenever you start a new race with someone, they'll always taunt you, they'll talk to you first and then you race. I always really liked that. And you always have that walkie-talkie connection with the opponents. I really like that as well. Probably the first 10 races or so, we're just gonna breeze through them. They're not too hard, actually pretty easy. You're just gonna see me driving alone for the most part of it. But that's a good moment to talk. Let's talk about whatever crosses my mind. Probably I'm gonna express what made this game so great, and I'm probably gonna talk about the game mechanics a bit and how it works. But after that, let's just have a free-for-all, talk about whatever. So let's just go into it, and I'm always gonna shut up when there's dialogue, because I wanna hear it. So let's have a trip down memory lane and go back to one of the few games that I always loved. This game will never escape me. I will always love this game, no matter what happens. I know what you're thinking. It's a racing game, who gives a fuck? I don't even wanna watch this. Well, just listen to it. And I am gonna get content ID matched because of the music in this game, but I don't care. This is not about money, this is about my relationship with this game. If I get content ID'd, so be it. I don't deserve the money for that. I just wanna relive the game and show you the game. It's on Steam sales quite a bit for like $1. I really urge you to get it. If you like racing games even one bit. This game is probably from like 2001 or so. Still, a game from 2001 supports all resolutions. Quite amazing if you ask me. Let's start this bitch. Get the ugliest color on our car. Seems appropriate. Let's get this show on the road.
Look at this little shrimp. Where does he think he's kidding, posing like that? Think he can race me in that car? Still, I must try to be nice, yo. Hey, bro, follow me.
Can do.
Little shrimp. Welcome to the LA street racing scene. When you find another racer you want to take on, flash the highs at them, give it a shot. Your brain may not be as puny as the rest of you. Keep up and don't lose me.
Probably the reason why I always loved this game was because of the banter. It really resembles a Snapster episode. You want to get the guys because they're so fucking mean. That's the whole idea. They're calling you out and that's your only reason to win. And that brings up a good point about the game. You actually need to win each race. If you're second, that's not good enough. You have to win each and every race. That can be a problem at times. And Los Angeles, you don't have to look at the map too much. But once you get to Paris, you will start having problems if you're not planning your routes. So basically you have to bring up the map at times like this and look at where you're going and where the next checkpoint is. It really becomes a chore at times. I can't really remember when I got this game or how. Probably just bought it. Well, let's listen to him now.
Since he's got the moves on old Moses, huh? I'll eat him for breakfast, poor little fella. Not bad, but I'm just being kind.
Not the only thing he'll be eating, I suppose.
She ain't the type that likes scrawny losers.
Oh, have to show you this.
Look, shrimp, when the hands drop, go.
Can actually run her over, which is something I would have never guessed.
See me? That's me up ahead.
But since this is one of the first races in the game, the others are pretty slow. It's a pretty good game what comes to teaching you the mechanics and how it works, and when you get new skills it kind of shows you how to use them. So for now, this is kind of like that sort of a game where you're, if you show this to your friends, let's say it's 2001, you show this to someone, and they don't really see what's so good about it. And you're like, well, it gets better, I swear it gets better. That's what I'm telling you now, it does get better. For now, this game looks quite a bit boring. But when you're in Paris and Tokyo, it gets kinda ridiculous. So for now, we're just pretty much cruising around. Not too hard. That's pretty much the first race. I'm gonna get Conti ID matched so hard on this one.
How did this happen? Beautiful damn car! I'll make him say, Moses, I have seen God. He weighs 280 pounds. For my car, huh? Let's go!
So like he explained, this game works on pink slips. Basically, if you win, you get their car, but you always have a worse car than the next opponent does. So you always have to suck your car for the race. Which is part of the challenge, I suppose. But Midnight Club 2 is a game that I usually come back to when I'm feeling down or I'm not feeling too great. It's a game that allows me to escape reality. Some people probably play shooter games and whatnot, but Midnight Club 2 for me is quite relaxing, actually. I can just completely ignore everything else. Got my car, got my map, and that's all I have. Got the banter, of course, which is part of the fun. Not a huge fan of the Los Angeles soundtrack, to be honest. It's kind of a... got that rap feel. Not a huge fan of that, but... I mean, don't get me wrong, I usually like rap songs, but... it's not the greatest songs in this game. But later on, when it gets to the house music, that's really good. So now we got the nitros, which is ridiculous in this game.
Listen up, yo. The ride you just won from me as a kid at Nico Appreciates. Give it a squeeze whenever you need a little extra boost.
Enjoy the car, my friend. You got potential. Still got a lot to learn, though. Flash those beams, bro. Keep racing.
Not even salty. So now we got his car, basically. Weird thing is, you always have to go to the menu to change the color of the car, which is quite strange. But you can do that. So now we just have to find another racer. So if you go find Steve and flash the beams and race him. Sounds like a good idea. This is basically how the game will play. There we go. Got different music every time you have a new challenger. Every character in this game has their own music, their own soundtrack, which gives more soul to the actual game. Kinda like that as well. So, at first when you follow them like this, only a portion of the song is playing. And then when you actually race them, the whole full song plays. It's a nice touch. I'm just like, you don't even see me right now, but I'm having so much fun with this game. It's good to have a break from all of the evaluations. This is fun to me, at least. Hope you're enjoying what you're seeing so far. Just rocking the tunes. Paris is the probably the section where, or the region where we will start having some problems. Kinda have to be careful how you plan out your route. Here it's kinda self-explanatory. There's not much going for it. There's not much to be too afraid of here.
Damn! I wasn't paying attention to the car's weight transfer on those turns. Kept missing the timing on the double clutch. Stupid! Fascinating technique. More?
Cause an idiot.
That is your opponent in this style of race. 3, 2, 1.
I suppose I always come back to this game when I'm depressed. Maybe that tells you something. Been having depression all my life. Probably doesn't even show in the evaluations, I don't think. Such a different thing. You know, you really don't know a lot about a person by just looking at their YouTube channel and what they do. If you never really think about it, I suppose. This is basically a time trial here. Just going through the checkpoints in the allotted time. Nothing too hard usually, but here you actually have to plan a bit. Still not as bad as Paris. Could whip out the map and see what to do, but there's really no need to yet. It's been a couple of years since I played this, and that's something that can happen. Just as I said that. Luckily there's more than enough time here. So I'm probably not gonna be perfect on these routes. That's a nice touch. The racers are actually waiting for me to come to the location.
This dude has no idea what's going on inside his vehicle. I'm gonna give this guy 11 PSI of whoop ass. Amp for the race, my friend?
Run the checkpoints as fast as you can. Keep your eye on the arrow, it can help.
Yep, this is where it gets interesting.
In any order.
Again here, not a big deal where you go. Just, you know, shortest route should be the best one, but you don't always have that time to actually think where you're going. You're just going. Just hoping for the best. Unless you're perfect at planning your routes, then you probably need a couple of attempts. And there will be moments where I'm actually quiet because I'm reading the map. Most men can't concentrate on more than one thing at a time, so that's a thing. The nitros is actually quite problematic in this game because once you use it, this is the result. This speed is actually something that I would see in F-Zero. It's actually quite ridiculous. I actually can't remember where that goal is. It is right here. So that's your introduction to the peeking your own route, I suppose. Quite a good one, actually.
I can't believe I did that on the stretch. I should always listen to my instincts. Work so hard on tweaking and perfecting this piece. You want a finely tuned vehicle.
Vehicle. Well, let's go find the next one. So that's basically the gist of Midnight Club 2. And some of you were not aware that I quit my Case Mega Man challenge. It is actually something that really started to break me. That it's not worth it. I just didn't get the views I wanted. So if you try to do a no miss on a Robot Master for like 2 weeks or even more, and then when you don't actually get more than 100 views, well, it's hardly worth it. Nice job! Follow me, let me crash into the next post. The AI is still quite ridiculously good in this game. I'm not sure how they even managed to do that. Something that will keep me coming back to this game. I always hated these cars that have low steering, because it's kind of like... feels like you're turning a boat. Luckily there's a handbrake. You have to be a master of it, because once you press it down it actually turns quite fast like that. So really have to get used to it. This is the most arcade-ish game I've ever probably played. The controls are ridiculously like they're so slippery. Once you get used to it though, it's quite good. Quite fun. This game should not be taken seriously anyway. Weird moves. Oh my god. Some of these events are actually scripted, like those trucks will just come out the same way every time. I've noticed that when I've played the game so much. Some of these positions are made up. That's fine though, if you don't play this game that much all the time, you're not really gonna memorize those anyway. There's actually speedruns of this game as well. It's quite amusing. Isn't that the definition of a speedrun, a racing game? And we got in-air controls.
This is Moses, yo. To get a nice clean landing, level out your car while it's in midair by using weight transfer.
Look at you. Think you're all that? You didn't keep up with me. I brought you here. You ready to shine my bumper, idiota?
This game actually got quite the reception because of racist stereotypes. I can see that. There was quite the stir when the game came out and they saw the characters in the game. To me, it's really nothing. If you get offended by that, fuck the AI up, since they always try the hardest to fuck me up. Probably the first races where you actually need to be semi-good. And if you get a chance, the police maneuver always works wonders. So they will not slow down. If you crash a couple of times, the AI will not slow down to wait for you. They will just keep going and finish the race and say fuck you. So if you suck, you really suck. Always hated the racing games where catch-up was a thing. Really, what's the point in even racing if nothing matters? Such as the Need for Speed games. If there's rubber banding, why are you even racing? If you're doing horribly and they wait for you, or if you're doing wonders, they will speed up, what's the point of racing? Basically what would happen on the newer Need for Speed games when they started to go downhill is that you would be leading the whole race, and then on the last curve they would somehow magically just take over and pass you and win the race. That always pissed me off. None of that in this game. We're doing good, so we're doing good. They're just falling behind. Holy fuck. No. That's okay. Probably one of those scripted events again that I've just forgotten. Fun to see stuff like that though. Back in 2001, nobody really paid attention to any scripted events in video games anyway. Let alone a racing game. Is really just to add flair. It's like a Sunday drive here. Once you get familiar with the controls and how the game works, it gets a bit easier. Just don't like this car. I should have not picked this one up because turning is so slow. It kind of worked for this stage anyway.
Cabron, you got lucky. Now I'm really pissed off. Come on, try and pull that cheese on me one more time.
Excuse me.
This is Moses, yo. Every time you clear a checkpoint in this race, your timer resets. You don't get no freebies in this one, yo.
I just sometimes lose myself on the game. Just playing it mindlessly, driving around. It's weird how sometimes you're not thinking at all, you're just driving. And you don't even notice that. Sometimes that happens in real life. I'm not even paying attention to anything and suddenly I'm home. I've been driving for 2 hours, not thinking about anything. Weird how your mind works and you're still able to perform. Such is the case with this game as well. You don't have to think about much sometimes, you just play the game and think about other things while you play. I'm not sure if there's a term for that. People don't talk about that too often. So I'm not sure what that would be called. If somebody knows, let me know. Sometimes you get so absorbed into thinking about other stuff that kinda you just play automatically. Just messed up there, doesn't matter really. Gotta be the worst driver I've ever seen, yet the AI is second. Makes sense, I suppose.
Moses here with some advice for you, bro. To keep your speed up through a tight turn, just your handbrake until the car starts to drift.
And I'm still repeating myself, it does get better. It's fairly easy at this point and not much going on, but once we get to the more difficult races, then we're gonna have some fun. Oh Jesus.
That means they're on the freeway, so watch for them.
We just went through someone. Well, that was the thing. Showcasing you how the handbrake can fuck you over. Now that the AI is actually ahead, it will not slow down. They can spontaneously hit something and slow down that way, but they will not show any mercy otherwise. They can legitimately fuck up though. See, yep, I think we got this. There we go. Even with that fuck up. Interesting.
Cuando mi hermano Hector gets to you, he'll stuff your head far up the blow-up valve. Stop smirking at me, boy, before you lose teeth.
There we go. So now we got yet another car. Interestingly enough, these cars are actually modeled by real-life cars, but usually half of them is from another car and half of it is from another. So, for example, this car, the behind, kind of looks like a Toyota Supra. The front, don't have any idea. Usually that's how they do it. Thanks, Moses. Use your map to find the other racers. Genius. That'll help. One thing to note is that you can really get shafted if you choose the wrong racer next. Because some of them can have a car that's fucking twice as fast as yours. So knowing the order actually helps. If you haven't played this game before anyway. For Los Angeles, for me it doesn't really matter. But it does help. Luckily when you chase someone, you can actually fall behind quite a bit. Doesn't matter. They're nice like that in the chasing sequence. It's mostly just following them. You don't actually have to keep up that much.
Dude, this underprivileged freak is fronting with that hoochie. Maybe I'll just drag him around a bit, then destroy his ride. What you got, friend? Ready to read my plates?
Listen to my countdown, then we hit it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
This race is a bit different. You can choose your route now, effectively, and it does play quite nicely with your decisions. So I think this route is probably the best. If you follow this guy. Makes the most sense. Probably the best route you can take. Holy hell. That sucked. Your car can actually destroy and blow up. It's indicated by those lines around that circle on the bottom right. So when they are full, your car will explode. So you lose some time there. If that happens, you're not out of the race, but you do lose time. That sucked. We can possibly still win, but these guys are not gonna wait for me. Let's see how that goes. Hey. What kind of a car is that? Yep, looks like we are first for now. Oh, they actually chose a different route there. That's the first. Oh my god, that's what I'm talking about. They're fucking dicks. Every opportunity they can, they will try and break you. There's probably a better route for this, actually. But that will work, yep. The boss actually took different routes. There he goes. Sometimes the weirdest shit happens when you finish the race next to a gas station.
When you need to jump off the line or a little boost to get
Because
back
everyone
up to
just
speed,
fucking explodes.
hold your handbrake and hit the gas. When you let off the handbrake, you'll take off like a rocket.
Another RPG skill.
Damn, this is hella weak. Little man's in town. Hope he doesn't catch wind of this.
I'm taking you down, dude! Make sure your brakes are ready to bleed!
This game is one of those titles where I can completely lose myself in. No matter what's going on around me, I'll be just paying attention to this. Even though, in some ways, I guess I lose myself in it so much that I won't be even really paying attention to what's going on the screen. Just kind of a zen state to me, this game. It's kind of like falling asleep, having that calm feeling of, you know, when you come home from work or you have that moment to yourself and you just have to really think about anything. Uh-oh. That's gonna be close. Okay. Let's see how close that was.
It's the difference between being green and being mean.
Basically on the same second.
Friend, the old man is losing his touch. But genetically, I am the human masterpiece. Marvel at the wonder.
Well, at least you got rid of Pops.
But what I was saying was that
Yo, this is Moses.
since this is one of my favorite games that I've ever played, and now he's cheats, of course. Of course. Part of the flair of the game, I really like that these guys have personalities, they're not just headless idiots. So it gives you more reason to explore and find out what all the characters do, and I like how the previous characters still stay in touch with you and give you tips after you already beaten them. It's nice how the game plays like that. It's not just another racing game. That's one thing that I really like about this is that it's quite different from any other racing game I've ever played. You know, there's stuff like Midtown Madness and some newer games that try to do this, but I don't think any other game has ever done as good of a job as Midnight Club 2 does. Now there is Midnight Club 3, but it was never released for PC. Okay. Okay, squeeze myself through that. That was unfortunate. Not the end of the world, though. Not the end of the world. But Midnight Club 2 is just something different. Just keeps me wanting more. Wish there was another game like this. If they released a new edition of this game on Steam or something, I'd be thrilled. Kind of like a remix. Same thing they're doing with Crash Bandicoot now, releasing it on Steam with new graphics. That's... I would die for that. If they released a remix of this game or something. They released a remix of this game, I would be thrilled. My love for this game is immeasurable. I can't put a price tag on this game. It means much to me. It has helped me through rough times in the past. It's a great escape for me. There's a handful of games that have helped me well grow, to say, in lack of better words. Let's continue that thought after this cutscene here. That was close.
My car! Man, how am I gonna explain this one away? Time for the trust fund.
Some friendly advice, dude. Don't show your face around here again.
But there are certain video games that helped me get over certain things, and I linked the games to those memories I had back then. I had some rough times when I first played this game, but it really helped me through that. And it still reminds me of those events. Every time I play this game, it makes me appreciate the history behind it. The history behind me and the game. And the things that I was going through when this game was released and when I was playing it. Hello? Oh. Okay. Going here now. Probably got stuck or something. But it's not easy to come back to this game. There's a reason why I like this game so much. If you paid some attention to this game right now, you're probably thinking like, it's not special. Like, what is this? But it is special to me. And I'm gonna share the experience with you, if nothing else. If you don't like what you see, then I understand, but this game means so much to me. Other game that did that to me was Nintendo World Cup for the NES. It's mostly because of nostalgia and the memories I had with the game, not necessarily the game itself. Granted, I still think this is the best racing game ever made. Period. I still think that. And it helps that I have the memories with it that I have. Of course, it's strengthens the bond with me and the game. I'm sure everyone has these kind of memories maybe you used to play a game with your friend when you were just a kid, and you enjoy coming back to the game because of the memories you had with it, with the game and your friend playing the game or something. And that reminds me of a story I read online. Makes you think. I'll tell you the story when we are finished with this guy. Motherfucker. Come on. Maybe if we help him. Okay, there we go. Well, that has never happened before. Now we've seen that as well. We should be stopping right about here. Yep, here we go. Okay, let's see what you got for us.
Where's the drum?
He rubs my little sister's wheels. This fool must pay. De nada, amigo. It will be a pleasure.
So there was a story online that somebody told that really moved me. Usually, not a lot of things move me anyway. I'm kind of like emotionless son of a bitch. But this guy posted on, can't remember where it was, but it's beside the point. But he was saying how he used to play a racing game with his dad, who then passed away later, and he would go back to the game after his passing, and his father's ghost car, you know, the car that, you know, the ghost car on some games where if you play time attack it saves your progress by having a ghost car in the game, and then you can race yourself, so you'll see if you're doing a better time or not. So his father's ghost car was actually still in the game, in the memory card, and he still has that memory card, and that is the well, one of the memories he has of his father is that ghost car in that particular memory card, in that particular game. So he goes back to look at that stage and look at that replay of the ghost car driving. That's really moved me in some level. It's pretty, that was pretty, one kind of a memory there.
This pretty boy's car isn't meant for the streets. It's made for stopping traffic and drawing in stupid crowds. You're revving without a cause, Chico! You're about to become roadkill!
And just like myself, I was going rough times during these years, and really, this game helped me a lot. Such a good escape. Even though the game makes fun of you, it's kind of like you want to get better at it, you want to overcome the insults. There's something you can do. Burn out before you even start the race. Always found that amusing. Okay. So now I want revenge. There we go. This game is all about revenge. You know the game Burnout Revenge? Well, this is kind of like a slow-paced Burnout game. Except you don't have those fancy replays and such. But you can still have your revenge. Really, this game is all about coming on top by any means necessary. It's really you versus a certain amount of motherfuckers who just wanna get them. It's basically you're against everyone else. That's all that it is. And since you have to come first in every race, well, got some challenge as well. Like second is not good enough. I like how there's one antagonist every time, but he got his allies. Even if you win the boss, even if you win against the antagonist, it's not gonna count if one of the allies beat you. That's kinda so that's kinda ass backwards if you think about it. But yeah, maybe you're just thinking about things too hard. It's a game after all, right? There we go. So I did these kind of out of order, but I'll explain it after this.
Listen up, little shrimp. You want to beat Hector? You gotta learn to use SST. Draft one of flashes red. Then hit the nitrous, and you'll blow right by him, yo.
It's time for this little lady to get grounded. This race I do for my familia!
So I basically, this is the last guy
This is Moses, yo.
you should probably race against in Los Angeles, but I, well, for no reason wanted to race him
Hit the nitrous button to
right now. Doesn't really matter, but if you want to go in order, then Hector should be your last guy. Because the next racer is gonna be a lot easier because we got the fastest car available in LA. But to each on their own. I like the soundtrack for Hector. I'm a fan of rap music, only certain type. I'm not a fan of all rap music. I'm not even sure what the different sub-genres are called. But rap music in general, it's okay when done in good taste. I like all sorts of rap, really. I think fits this game pretty well, except some of the earlier music bits in the game, not really that memorable, kinda on the bad side. But when you get to Paris, the soundtrack really starts to shine. I'm eagerly waiting for us to get to Paris and Tokyo, because that's when the game really starts. All that LA is a big long tutorial. You'll get your bearings and how the game works. Oh shit. That's how you lose time. If your car actually explodes, then it really costs you some time there. Not a huge time loss. I kinda hope, or would have hoped, that crashing your car actually ended the race. That would have been another challenge, but then again, sometimes the AI just crashes into you by force. So I guess it was a decent idea not to have it end your race. Would have probably been too hard. In fact, there is a couple of cheats actually to make the game even more difficult, but I'm not really sure if the game is even beatable. There's 9 different difficulty settings hidden behind a cheat, but I don't know about that enough to try that. Might become too hard, because the later races are ridiculously difficult. In fact, the last race in the game is actually about 25 minutes long. Yes, a single race. That's quite long for one race. You can't even blink. I remember the first time I beat that, probably a year later, when the game came out in 2002 or so. I was so happy I finally beat the game. It gets ridiculous. If you think about how long a 25-minute race is, in a setting like this, and in Tokyo where the cars are going 5 times faster than this, yeah, you got a bit of a challenge going on, and you still have to look at the map to know where you're going. This is just like easy mode, being in LA. So now we are following Gina, and she has a pretty bad car, so now this is not even a challenge because we have the best car already. So that's something you can do if you know the order. You can kind of manipulate it that way. Of course, when I say that, I suddenly make a U-turn and stop. Fantastic. The only time when the opponents are actually waiting for you is in this follow-up scene. This is pretty much a setup to get to know the racers, get to know their car, and get to know the city a bit. It's actually pretty helpful if you think about it, because you're not familiar with the city when you first start, but following them around, it kind of gives you clues on where there might be shortcuts and such. So I really like that they implemented the follow-up scene to the game. Stuff like this, you would probably not know about this, but now if you have a great memory, of course a lot of things look exact same as others, but if you have a great memory, then you can probably use that to your advantage. There we go. And still, that banter, we've only just met. She's already going about how I suck dick. That's appropriate for this game. Makes you want revenge even more. Great job. They're not so great. Insulting me and then crashing their car immediately after. Perfect.
This one looks good from the outside. Let's see if the little baby can handle his ride.
You ready, mister?
This was also kinda new at the time. The characters in the game actually talking to the player in this manner. I found that pretty amusing. I liked that, because it really makes you feel you're in the game. You're really one of the characters. I always liked when games did that. One thing to note, this game does have motorcycles and you can actually drive them as well. I was never good at them, so I just never used them. It's because when you crash you immediately fall off the bike and that costs you time, and the bikes don't have nitros, and it's kinda... That's not what I like about the game. It's probably the worst thing about the game, the motorcycles. Oh, there's a shortcut. There we go. So, we are gonna have to do one, I think it's a time attack with the motorcycle that's coming up soon. But that's the only time when the game forces us to drive the motorcycle. We don't have to use it after that. So that's gonna be the most, and that is the most boring part about this whole game. Because it forces you to learn the bike mechanics and then you don't actually have to use it ever again. The bikes are faster than any of the cars in the game, but really risk versus reward right there, cause one crash and you could lose the race. So not really my style. You can even knock the guys out of their bikes, the AIs, if you knock them just right. I like that.
It was fun to have this man be so dominating, even if he does look like that.
Hey there, jockey. Ready for another go?
Well, that's some sexism right there. 2001, the era where we still had genders. Makes you think. Nowadays there's so many genders I can't even count. But to me there's still only two. It's a man and a woman. That's how it is. Well, enough of that. Probably gonna be a good podcast topic for Unsound Logic. If you don't know what that is, it's a podcast me and Jeremy do. Jeremy from Snapster. We talk about life, mostly. Originally it was gonna be a podcast about games and such, but then we figured, hey, why not talk about life at times? It's interesting in itself. The first ever episode we did was pretty popular, at least at the time. It was about being an introvert and what that is. If you search for Unsound Logic, you'll find it in YouTube. And yes, I am an introvert, which is not about being shy. It's quite the different thing. Introverts kind of hate socializing, and it's not so much about hate either. It discharges us quite fast. Talking to people is exhausting. Being in parties, being around people gets us tired. That's what it is. We like our own time, and especially if I go somewhere, then I'm gonna be tired for 2 days after, because I have to charge again. But I've always been a bit of a lone wolf in that I enjoy my own time the best. And of course time with my wife, but mostly, man, if I can have a dark room to myself, just sit there, sip some fucking red wine, I'm a happy man. I always seek places where I can be alone. The best time of my life there. Alright, now we have to endure this.
Weight transfer is the key to using the bike effectively. Use it while pulling back to do a wheelie, or while pressing forward to duck down and reduce wind resistance. Either way, you'll get a boost in speed. You can also use it when you need to make sharp turns without losing much speed. If you can master these techniques, nobody will be able to touch you.
This is the bike handling mission. Basically you drive the bike to the other side of the map and then back. That's the only thing you do, and I'm gonna demonstrate why I don't drive these. I'm gonna crash probably 18 times. Because the moment I try something, I just crash. Really, some people are really good with the bikes in this game, but I'm just not. You can already see how fast this is. You'd win every race imaginable if you just knew how to handle this. Which I don't, and I don't like it. I prefer cars. And bam, there we go. Right on the ground. Luckily you don't die. Damn, suck. Just crash once and that's it. Which reminds me, how people dare to drive motorcycles in real life. Steve. Can't always, like if you're driving a car, not everyone is able to look so carefully behind when switching lanes if there's a motorcycle behind them or something. Luckily, they do make a lot of noise, so that should clue you in, but it's so dangerous to drive a motorcycle, at least in my opinion. I couldn't do it. Probably one wrong move and you're dead. And even if somebody crosses an intersection on red lights, you could be dead right there, of course. You could be dead when driving a car as well, but it's so risky in my opinion anyway. Well, this game is a good example of why you shouldn't do that. Props to anyone who actually drives a motorcycle. Ridiculous. Maybe in city when you're going slowly, but on motorways and such, I just think it's a huge risk. A lot of people enjoy that though. Summer is coming, so gonna see a lot of more of those again. Oh my fuck. How did I manage that then? I'm not sure where I'm going, but let's see if this plays out. That's why I love this game. You never go the same route when you play this game. I could play this game again in 2 years and not take the same path I took this time. Really makes the game different every time. It's one thing that these open world racing games have going on for them. Really a different experience every time. And there we go. Well, the worst mission is behind us, luckily. Don't have to ever do that again.
Come on, Gina. This is for real now. You gotta find the right groove.
This is it! For the pink slips!
So after we beat Gina, there's only the Los Angeles champion left, Dice. Gonna have to beat him as well. But that will do it for Los Angeles, and next time we'll get to Paris. That's gonna be interesting. Because I legitimately can't remember the races that much. It's like a learning experience every time. No matter how much I play this game, it's difficult every time, because you can't memorize maps like those unless you just play this every day for the rest of your life. At least I can't. Some people are good at remembering maps, at least in real life, but I also get lost easily. Well, not lost in a sense of getting actually lost, but if there's a section in a video game where you have to backtrack and go around tunnels, I'll get lost very easily. Games like Metroid and Blaster Master, not really suitable for me. Really, I suck at those games because I can't remember where I came from and where I went and where am I supposed to go. That's sometimes a problem in real life as well. If I go to a new place, let's say somebody moves and I have to go there for the first time, I'm not paying attention to the things I see on the road when I'm driving there. So when I have to drive there the next time, I probably need navigation assistance again, because I'm so bad at remembering stuff. And then when I go somewhere, I don't look back. So naturally, when I'm coming back from that, whatever the place is, naturally nothing looks familiar because I've never seen it, because I never looked back. So again, I'm like, okay, where did I leave my car? I have no idea. Backtracking, such a problem for me for some reason. Unless think I suffer from some kind of an ADD as well, or whatever the hell it's called in the US, where when somebody's talking to me I might be thinking about 20 different things and not actually listen to the things they are telling me. And then at the end they're like, okay, what's your opinion on that, or what did I just say? I'm like, okay, I did not listen to anything you said. Because when they start their story, I'm already like 10 sentences ahead. I already know what they're gonna say, and it just takes them so long to say it. I don't have the time to listen. I barely listen to anyone. That's one of the problems I have. I'm not sure what that's about. I just don't have the patience to listen to people. Somehow it feels like a waste of time.
I can't believe I have to say goodbye to my wheels. But this guy really rocks. Maybe I can set him up with a couple of deals. Stay cool, baby!
Another rookie looking for a title shot. Trying to take what's mine. He might have some juice, but I'm gonna drop some knowledge on this fool. Careful, I got a reputation.
Probably something to do with concentration. But I can't do one thing only. I always have to be just doing multiple things at the same time. I always feel like I'm wasting my time on just doing one thing. So let's say I'm working on something, then I might listen to a podcast at the same time to learn something new. I always have to maximize my time. And I really hate how I'm completing other people's sentences already for them in my head, and that's when I stop listening. Because it's so irritating to me to listen to people. Probably goes hand in hand with that introvert thing as well. I'm very self-centered as well. I don't like doing favors. I like taking and not giving. That's pretty much what I do. If it doesn't benefit me, it's not worth my time. Because I don't think I bear the typical feelings of a normal human being. I just like taking advantage of people and playing with them. So I think I'm a leader type anyway. I don't like taking instructions. I don't like being told what to do. I need to tell others what to do. I usually get upset if somebody tries to tell me what to do. It's really a problem. I recognize that now, of course. But I don't want to change that either. Part of what I am and who I am. I guess it kind of shows in the YouTube comments as well. And in YouTube in general. Most comments I get nowadays on the evaluation videos, I just think most of those people are fucking monkeys. You might be as well, if you're watching this now. I might have some assumptions of you. And that's when people unsubscribe, when I actually say something. I don't usually say anything, because I know that if you treat your subscribers horridly, badly, and you don't respect them for watching your content, of course they're gonna leave. But at the same time, I kinda don't care. If you get upset by something I say, or if you get upset by my comments, for your comments, and the comments that I write you back, maybe I reply to some of your comments, and you get upset about it, then maybe you shouldn't be there, maybe you shouldn't comment, maybe you shouldn't watch. I want a certain kind of audience, the kind of audience that respects me and my opinion, respects who I am. I can respect them back. If you have feedback and you give it in a proper manner, you have evidence to back up your claims, then by all means leave a comment, let's have a discussion. But if you're just there to troll, you're there to criticize stuff that you might know that I said in an accident, or I said because it's a live recording. I don't edit those videos, I edit clips out, and I sometimes add stuff in. but I don't edit them in such a way where I know what I'm gonna say. I don't have a script, so everything I say... Oh my god, there's a lot of traffic. Oh, there we go. So everything I say is done live. This is a clusterfuck. And... and sometimes mistakes just happen. Of course, it's important when you're criticizing games to be perfect, but I can't afford the time. I can't afford the time to have a script. So, I know when I said something dumb, when I said something... I know when I say something that isn't true, but I still fix it, and then people still complain in the comments, well, you said this thing was wrong, I still respect you, but your opinion sucks or something. Well, get the fuck out, right? If you're just making fun of me because I accidentally said something that you know I didn't mean, you're just there to annoy me at that point, and we should probably go our separate ways. That's how I get rid of people. I tell them to fuck off, and that's it. They'll do that.
This kid got something, but he ain't seen the dice in full effect. Let's not waste more of my time. Drive!
Like, I respect my audience, but at the same time, if you're a dumbass, then be a dumbass somewhere else. And people who nitpick something, like if I say something that in my opinion this is this and that, or this is like this in my opinion, I think this thing should be done like that. Then somebody says, well, you're wrong. How can I be wrong? It's my opinion. We have different opinions. If you think I'm wrong, just don't watch my stuff. It's easier for both of us if you don't leave a nitpicky comment on every video I make. It's gonna train your resources. Some people go to the extreme, getting nitpicky, frame by frame, looking at my footage, analyzing what I could have done better. If that's everything you do with your life, then I'm sorry. Those kind of people piss me off. Have to ban 10 people a day. And the other thing is when people claim something that they know about a certain game, but they're wrong. It's the worst thing. Gets my blood pressure so fucking high. If you're like, no, you're wrong, it works like this. But it's not worth it to argue with them. It really isn't, because they're not gonna accept their defeat. Even if they're wrong, they're not gonna accept it. Arguing is usually never something you wanna do. That's why I try to steer away from that idea of arguing. You can never win that. Even if you know you're right and the other person is wrong, there's nothing to gain. They will not give up their position. It's not about the truth anymore. It's about who lets their guard down first. It's nothing else. Arguing is something that nobody should do. It doesn't benefit any sides. When was the last time you actually won an argument where the other person said, okay, I'm wrong, you're right? And not even sarcastically. I don't think that has happened to you that many times. So next time you are in an argument, just stop and walk away. Easiest thing you can do. Then they usually come back to you and say, oh, I went the wrong way. Then they usually come back to you and say that, okay, you were right. Remember the argument we had? Remember the things you said like a week ago? You were right, I just found out. That's the best feeling you can get. That's the best thing you can do. Never argue, just drop it. Get the best results. See how this plays out for us. Okay, badly. We are almost done with Los Angeles, but kinda looks like we're gonna lose this one. One hit away from exploding as well. Here I've been talking about assorted stuff and haven't really been paying attention. Just like I mentioned earlier in this video, actually. Funny how I just automatically play the game without even realizing where I'm going. It just plays out. And that's exactly how we get lost in the game. To get lost in the game's world. Really hate the fog, though. Can't see anything. Oh my god. Oh shit. Now I'm just paying attention to the game. Like the soundtrack for DICE as well, very good. But I think YouTube is just a special place for special people to go and just have a free-for-all and eat glue. It's a weird place. Trying my hardest to not reply to each dumbass comment, but it's so hard sometimes. But I know it's not gonna do anything, even if I say, hey, here's how it works, your comment is bullshit. It doesn't do much. So usually, if I don't reply to your accusations, well, you know what that's all about. Blood pressure going up again. And we have victoried a great game. Love those last jumps, especially next to gas stations.
Transfer and pull right or left to pop your car up on two wheels and skirt right through those tight gaps.
He's got some mad skills. I'll give him that.
I got some things to sort out in Paris. This guy seems like he really has a shot to tear it up Euro style. You ever drag Parisian streets at mega speeds?
That is actually the first section. So now we are in Paris. I can't wait, because this is gonna be difficult as hell. So I'll catch you next time.